Hello, what is up and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Carissa and you should definitely subscribe because I would love to have you as a part of my family. So it has been a little while, about a month, probably a little over a month. I did have my little girl. If you are new here and you did not know, and this is the first video you are seeing, I'm not anymore, pregnant with my first baby girl. I did have her. I had her on September 2nd and she is here and she's beautiful and she is healthy. She is now just a couple days over a month old. I decided that I just wanted to take a little break. If you hear her, it's because she's literally sitting right here in her chair. But I decided that I wanted to take just a little break, just to get in the hang of things because obviously I'm a new mom, and I also am exclusively breastfeeding, so we really had a lot to learn together. But I am back and I plan to put out as many videos as possible. So if you like mommy videos, lifestyle videos, vlogs, stay and subscribe. If you are here, it is probably because you would like to know my birth story. That is what we're going to talk about today in my video. Hopefully we can get through it without her crying. And I also will introduce you guys to her a little bit later. I'm going to try and see how long she can sit in this chair without wanting me to hold her. If you have not yet watched my birth plan video, which is the video right before this because that's the last video I put out before I had her, you should definitely go watch that first before this video because this video will make a little bit more sense if you watch that video. I had my beautiful baby girl on September 2nd, but before we get there, my whole pregnancy, well, not my whole pregnancy, probably around like 24-ish weeks, I started having Braxton Hicks very frequently, which made me very nervous that she was going to come early. If you didn't know, my due date was September 4th. Like I said, it's my first baby, so I really did not know what contractions were going to feel like, but trust me, once I started feeling them, I knew. August 30, I think is there 31 days in August. The very last day of August, so August 31st, I think. It was Tuesday morning. And I was having pretty intense contractions starting at 4 a.m. So I was timing them with the app that I had, and they were pretty frequent. They were 5 minutes apart. Sometimes they would go down to 3 minutes apart, but they weren't lasting a full minute. They were only lasting like 45 seconds, or they would last longer than a minute and they'd be like a minute and a half. So when you go to the hospital, they need to be lasting a whole minute. So I called the hospital probably about around between 8 and 9 a.m. and I told them like everything that I was feeling, and she told me to just keep timing them because they weren't how they were supposed to be, so she didn't want me to come in and then me be sent home, which I'm glad I didn't go in because obviously I didn't give birth on Tuesday. But they were pretty intense all day long, like crazy, until about 5 p.m. That's when they started to slow down. Tuesday was pretty much me just laying on the couch all day long crying because the contractions hurt so freaking bad. But then they finally stopped, and Wednesday I was feeling great. I didn't have any contractions, not even Braxton Hicks, nothing. Also, I did lose my mucus plug starting Sunday, like the Sunday before Tuesday. She's not happy. Here we have little Miss Ariel. She's not very happy. So Wednesday I was feeling great, nothing, I was just hanging out. And then Thursday, September 2nd, when it all happened, it was again started at 4 a.m., which is crazy. I was having the same contractions I was having on Tuesday. Part of my birth plan was that I wanted to labor at home as much as possible, so I did try to do that, and I tried to labor at home as much as possible. But again, it was until like between 9 and 10 o'clock where I couldn't really do it anymore, and I was in tears, and Ethan was in bed sleeping. I had come out onto the couch, and I was like, I can't do this. So I called the hospital, and they were like, okay, no, you need to come in, because they were 2 to 3 minutes apart, lasting a full minute. So she was like, you need to come in now. So I woke Ethan up, we got our bags, and we went. I got there, and they were, I delivered at Samaritan, if anybody wanted to know. We got there, and they were low on nurses. We got into the room, not the delivery room, we just got into the regular room where they check you. We were in there for probably a good hour before someone came in and checked me. I'm sorry, I'm feeding her, but I really want to get this video done. Finally came and checked me after about an hour of being there, and I was 4 centimeters dilated, which is what you needed to be to get admitted. You have to be 4 centimeters or more. They finally admitted us, and they brought us right up to the room. I called my mom, and I told her that she could come. We got into the delivery room. I got into the bathtub because, like I said, that was a part of my birth plan. And also part of my birth plan was to go fully unmedicated. The contractions obviously did not go away, but they weren't as intense when I was in the bathtub, and the jets were going, and I was listening to some laboring music, and also all of the lights were dimmed. The nurses were great. The one nurse that I had, Gina, she was literally a lifesaver. She was freaking amazing. She knew exactly what I wanted. She read my birth plan through. They took a copy of my birth plan and made sure all of the nurses and the doctor knew exactly what I wanted. But Gina read it through herself, and she knew exactly what I wanted. Let me tell you, there was times I wanted the epidural. I said it, I was like, I can't do this anymore, like I really need the epidural. She knew that I did not want the epidural, so she just, you know, kept talking me through it. And Ethan was great, because every time a nurse would come in and ask me if I wanted the epidural, he would just, you know, he would speak up for me. No, she doesn't want any medicine, she wants to do it fully unmedicated. So Ethan was really great through the whole birthing process. I knew he was gonna do great, I just didn't think that he would do as good as he did. So I'm really proud of him. I was in the tub for about, honestly, I don't know how long I was in the tub for, because obviously I wasn't timing it. But I was in there for at least an hour, could have been longer. Could have been close to 2 hours. I was starting to get really hot, like I was sweating, and the cold washcloths weren't working. So I finally decided, I was like, okay, I really need to get out. So I got out. I started bouncing on the yoga ball, which literally sucked. I don't recommend bouncing on a yoga ball when you're in labor, especially if you're doing unmedicated, because that did not help me at all. I feel like it made everything worse. So I only bounced on the yoga ball for maybe like 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I didn't want to be bedridden. That's why I wasn't hooked up to anything. I didn't have any IVs in me. I did have like the IV in my hand, but like not the actual IV, just like the needle, so that way if there was ever an emergency and I did need something like put into my system, they had it in my hand. But I didn't have anything hooked up to me, so I was able to walk around and stuff. But I was already laboring for like 6-7 hours. Actually no, more than that. I was almost ready to give birth this time, so I was really tired, so I needed to lay in the bed. So I laid in the bed, and Ethan laid next to me for a little bit, and at this point it was really hard. I got checked, and I was 7 centimeters, so literally in a couple hours I went from 4 to 7. Like I said in my birth plan, I didn't want a bunch of nurses coming in and out of the room, just because I wanted a very slow pace, like quiet environment which I had, and I'm so grateful. I only had two nurses throughout my whole birthing process, and only one or two of them were in there at a time. They weren't all in there at the same time, so it was really great. And Gina was with me pretty much like the whole time. The only time she had to leave was to go check on someone else, or if she had to go grab something, but she was there pretty much the whole entire time. At this point, 7 centimeters, I was probably close to 9 at this point. That is when I started, you know, really feeling it and not wanting to do it. I really wanted the epidural. I really wanted medication at this point. I was screaming. My mom kept telling me that I don't want it, to calm down and whatever, but she said I was screaming at her. I don't think I was, but she swears I was. Finally, my doctor came in around 4 p.m. My doctor came in and he checked me, and let me tell you, when they check you throughout the whole birthing process, it didn't really hurt that much, at least to me. I mean, obviously it was really uncomfortable, but it didn't like crazy hurt until my doctor came in and he checked me. My original labor doctor, she wasn't there to deliver her. She wasn't on call, so I did have another doctor, which he was great too. I was at 9 centimeters. I screamed and I cried because he was like elbow deep up there. Like, I'm not even over exaggerating. It was crazy. It freaking hurt. So I was at 9 centimeters at this point. My water still did not break, like at all. He said he was like, I'm gonna go get changed into my delivery scrubs, and I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna break your water, and you should, you know, be ready to push within, you know, like an hour. So I was thinking, like, I'm gonna have to do this like in an hour. I was starting to get really nervous. I was crying. The contractions obviously hurt so bad. So I was really just feeling all sorts of emotions. I was like, I can't wait to meet my baby, but then again, I really don't want to push her out. So he left and he got changed. He was only gone for 5 minutes. Came back and he broke my water. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was, but I didn't even feel it at all. I felt his hand up in there, but I didn't feel him break my water. I just, you know, felt the gush. But he came back in and he broke my water, and instantly he broke my water and he was like, you're ready to push right now. You are pushing. She's coming. She's ready. And like I said in my birth plan, if I didn't feel like I was ready, I wasn't going to push even if I was at 10 centimeters, but I felt like I was ready. I felt the urge to push. I could feel her coming out. So I was ready. As soon as he told me I needed to push, I was like, okay, I'm ready to push. It was time for me to push, and Ethan was up holding my hand. My mom was down holding my leg. My mom was closer. That's only because I felt weird with holding my mom's hand and Ethan holding my leg. For some reason, I didn't feel comfortable that way, so we did the opposite. But Ethan still watched her come out and be born. He didn't miss anything. At first, I feel like I wasn't pushing good. I feel like it was really tiring. I would push. Usually they tell you what to push on a contraction, and you usually want to push 3 times. I could just barely push 2 times. I was so tired, and I was also hot, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. They literally kept telling me I could breathe and I was fine, but I kept saying like, no, I really can't breathe. And I didn't think I was doing a really good job. It was kind of discouraging me a little bit, but he kept telling me to push. And then finally, when they were like, okay, we can see your head, that's when I really was like, okay, I'm doing something, clearly. I didn't have a mirror at the end of my bed because they did ask me, I think, once, but it really wasn't like, I wanted her to be out so bad. I didn't want to feel the pain anymore. I really wish I did watch her come out. I'm kind of upset now that I didn't, but it is okay. Ethan was able to watch her. I got some amazing pictures and videos that I was able to go back and look at, so I did watch her come out. I just not in the actual moment. The doctor's hand was up there the whole time. He never took his hand out. I only pushed for about 20 minutes. So the whole 20 minutes his hand was right up there. Never came out. He had his hand around her head because I would push and my pushes, you know, they wouldn't be strong enough, I guess. He was telling me that I was pushing great, but like they weren't strong enough to push her head out. So every time I would push, she would come out, and then when I'd stop, she would go back in. So he had his hand right there around her head, so that way she didn't like go fully back in and, you know, get stuck in my birth canal, because I did have a small birth canal and a tilted uterus as well. That last push for her head to come out, and I pushed, and I did feel the ring of fire just for a second when her head popped out. So her head finally popped out, and then everybody was screaming and crying, and I was like, okay, well, like, she's still in me. So then I did one last good push, and he pulled her out, and she was here, and she was born September 2nd at 4:38 p.m. She was very healthy. She was 7 pounds, 5 ounces, and 20¼ inches long. She's sleeping, but like you can kind of see she's got a lot of hair back here and like no hair up here. Yeah. Ethan did cut her cord, which again, that's what I wanted. He also was able to help stamp her feet, because they take the baby's footprints. I'll put as many pictures of my whole birth I can up here without being, you know, demonetized and taken down. I was in labor for 12 hours. I was in active labor, which means from 4 centimeters until I gave birth. Was about 6.5 hours, and then like I said, I only pushed for about 20 minutes. I did not tear. I only got 1 stitch on the inside and 1 stitch on the outside, and that is only because just the way that she came out, he wanted to just stitch that part up just because of where it was. He didn't even want to put any stitches in me, but where there was a little tiny tear, he said it wasn't even really that big of a tear. It wasn't even bad, just where it was, because it was at the top. He just wanted to stitch it just that way there was no infections because it was open. That was pretty much her birth. It was really quick. It was really intense. Like I said, I went the whole thing with no epidural, exactly how I wanted. I didn't get any medication, nothing. It was a very intense and tiring birth, I can tell you that, but I would do it all over again. We stayed at the hospital for 2 nights. We were actually supposed to go home the next day and only stay the 1 night, but her blue ribbon levels, which is like the jaundice test, they were a little high. They wanted to test her again, and for them to test her again, it was at 3 in the morning. So they were like, you should probably, you know, just end up staying another night anyway. So we stayed another night. She didn't end up needing to go under the blue light, because when she went for a test at 3 in the morning, they ended up going down low. If you don't know, I'm exclusively breastfeeding, but in the hospital, to help her blue ribbon levels go low, we needed to give her a little bit of formula after. So I was still breastfeeding, but after I would just give her like 10 mLs of some formula, which is not a lot. I did cry. Once we got home, we just strictly breastfed. So we are still doing that, and it is going great. I do plan on doing a video updating everybody on how she's doing, kind of a 1-month update, but really just like an overall, like how we're both doing and how postpartum has been for me. Our hospital stay was great. I was able to shower. I got up and I showered the next day, and honestly, we had a really good time staying at the hospital. All of the doctors and the nurses were freaking literally amazing. They were wonderful. They didn't bother us unless we needed them, and it was just really nice. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, definitely comment them below, or you can go over to my Instagram and ask me on my Instagram or my TikTok. I have a Q&A open over there that you can ask me. anything. Here, I'll get a little closer. Here she is, little Miss Ariel Evergreen. She looks just like her daddy. She's starting to look like me just a little bit, but she looks like her daddy. And a lot of people are wondering about her name. Ariel obviously is for the Little Mermaid. I love the Little Mermaid. I love mermaids. She's gonna be my Little Mermaid. And then Evergreen is after my mom. Her name is Heather, and that is a flower, and it's an evergreen. Not the tree. People keep thinking that it's a tree, but it's not the tree. I'll put a picture of what it is right here. It's like a cute flower. It comes in all different colors: pink, purple, white, blue. I think that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to my little birth story and listening to how my precious little bean came into this world. We are literally so grateful, so thankful. We love her so much. She's just the most perfect little baby. And like I said, I'm very, very proud of Ethan. He was great, and I'm grateful my mom was there too, because she really did help me through a lot. I couldn't have done it without either of them or all of the nurses, especially Gina. She was freaking amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and comment down below. Subscribe, because I love to have you as part of my family. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. She says peace.